Mbin is dedicated to Leban artists and business entrepreneurship. First is Rosalind Tazifo, the famous gospel artist, who also does business. She fell in love with our own very student reporter, Frida Monfort.
I'm Rosanna Tazifo.
Yes.
Based in Columbus.
Also an artist.
Yes.
So can you give a little bit of background on what you do?
Okay, I'm a gospel artist. I started right in Cameroon some few years ago, about 10 years today. I've been preaching the gospel to the people, and I believe that through my songs, many people have known God. I am not just an artist. I make sure that I do songs that helps people to grow in the Lord. Basically, right now, I am trying to promote our culture. Most of my songs right now are in the Bangwa language, which I want every mother, every father to understand the meaning. Aside from that, I'm also a business lady.
Okay, hold on. Your song, where can we find them?
We can find them in YouTube. We can find
What's the name of the YouTube?
Rosanna Tazifo.
Can you spell it?
Roxana Tazifo, Tazifor.
Okay, then you say you also have some other.
Yes. I'm a business lady. I'm the CEO of Rosie Closet, based in Columbus, where I do sell African dresses, any traditional dresses, anything that you want to promote culture, I do have them.
Okay, thank you. Last night we were trying to have a conversation and you were so passionate about Gaza Media does.
Yes, I really love what Gaza Media does, and I really appreciate all the workers of Gaza Media and the people who started this initiative. I'm so impressed. I watched one of the reporter by name Frida Monfort. I'm so pleased with her. I just fell in love with what she does. She's so passionate and she knows exactly what she does. And I even told Mr. Ernest that, I would like to talk to this lady because I really love her work. Gaza Media, you are doing a great job and I love what you do. Not just her, but all other reporters. I really like what you guys are doing.
Thank you so much. Now, with the dresses that you say, how can we contact you if someone wants to contact you?
Okay, you can go to my Facebook page to contact me. My Facebook page is Rosanna Tazifo, or you can call me on my number on 240-764-9919. 240-764-9919, and place your orders and I will ship them to you wherever you are.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me this afternoon.
Then Oliver T. Asa of the Minka Systems.
Essentially today is the plenary session, and then we'll have a fundraiser gala tonight. The expectation today, I think, is going to be making sure that we adopt the projects that are going to be spearheaded by the LECUDO USA. And then the plenary session, because it's the General Assembly, we have to adopt those projects, and then we'll look into the future, as we also have a panel that is covering the 30 years of the LECUDO existence in the USA. So we're reflecting to make sure that going forward, we'll be doing a lot more valuable things for the LECUDO USA. So I think, and tonight too, we're going to have two live artists that will be performing for fundraiser for the convention.
And if you wouldn't mind, who will those artists?
That will be Mike Power. Mike Power is from Cameroon, and you have the Minka Systems. Okay. So we'll be performing live tonight for fundraising.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
And the new face, Mike Power.
My name is Mike Power. Mike Power, I own Mike Power Entertainment. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Mike Power Entertainment. I produce music, and then I do beats and mix songs and master them. So that's me. Then the performance yesterday is a song I did for LECUDO. So let me just do something. Anata songobu numbombo ambonge aleginanye nko abu mofi anata nkwela lebubo lekudu bubu chamnyok tibutundom kwele bangonzwe. That's the song. It's all about uniting and making force for the Bang people.
And you will likely be performing again tonight.
Of course.
There was another song. I think that was the second song that you performed.
Yeah.
Can you just give a little bit of a ring?
Yeah. The song I performed yesterday is called Royalty. It's a song that we collaborated with other Cameroonian artists, Strong Banwa Boy, Tizi Panchak, Longe, Kamini, Buzo and Nyango, all of us participated and brought forth the song. I was the one singing the chorus in the song. Eshuage, eshuage, lebinale eluba chaba chongwe. Eshuage, eshuage, lebinale eluba chaba chongwe. We will come and be in those. Lebinale eluba chaba chongwe. Mic power, mic power.
Okay.
Ready for you.
Yes, my power. If someone want to contact you, will you mind sharing your phone number?
Yeah, I will share my phone number. My phone number is +1 508 685 9467. That's my phone number. You get to Mic Power.
Okay. Yeah, I thank you so much for your time. I know very soon the convention will start. We'll be happy to see you this evening perform live.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Mic Power for life.
Then some young business lady and gentleman.
Good morning.
Yes, can you just tell your name and exactly what you are doing here?
Yes, my name is Victor. I greet everyone. My name is Victorine Anyache. I'm from Maryland, so I have African stuff, everything fashion. When it comes to fashion.
Okay, so what is the name of the business?
Yeah, the name of my business is Vicky Hair Administration.
Vicky Hair Administration. Do you have like maybe a social media network where somebody can contact you if somebody want to come get?
Yeah, my email, I have my business card.
What is the number on the card?
Yes, 240-486-9156. I live in Highsville, Maryland.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you just introduce yourself and exactly what you are doing?
So my name is Sofio Tayo. I am the founder of Carl Winston Clothing, and what we do is we produce African wear and we sell it to promote our heritage, which is why we have our slogan called Heritage Made Wearable, to promote our culture.
And where are you located?
I am located in Indianapolis, Indiana, and you can find me on Instagram as well at Carl Winston Clothing. So it's Carl_Winston_Clothing on Instagram.
Do you have a phone number?
You can reach me at 765-631-6767. Text me through WhatsApp and I'll respond to you.
Okay. I wish you luck.
Thank you. I appreciate the interview.
All right. This short segment is dedicated to Leban artists and business entrepreneurship. First is Rosa. Okay, yeah, good morning and welcome to Gaza Media. This is Saturday morning. Welcome to this program. Our guests are still in the guest room. But before we start, we just want to make a couple of announcements. That on the 11th to the 15th, the Bishop of Manfred Diocese would be in Minji at St. Clair Parish and Azé Parish. He has a tour of calendar that he will leave. He will start from Fonjume Tour to Fortabong Parish, then move on to Menji or Fontaine Parish and to Azé and back. So that's an announcement. Some of those announcements are scrolling below your screen. Also want to give a shout out to some of these our amazing artists from Leban, Mike Power, who performed during the last convention, the last two years ago in Columbus, Ohio, during the 30th anniversary of LECUDO USA, and Rosa Tazifo, and of course Minka System, and the last clip was Asamo. I think he's in Germany. So those were some of the footages from that convention. We'll be looking at some of our recaps or what has transpired throughout this week. And not to forget, on Saturday, the 30th of November, that is the end of this month, Belua community, the Christian community, will be having a fundraising at Silicon Hotel in my 17 Boya, where the proceeds from that fundraising will go to the construction of the church at Belua. And I will be bringing in first Mr. Matthews Mbamion to give us a little bit of update. Then we'll move on to LECUDO to coordinate the conservation of Mbin. That is a topic that has hit the media during the past couple of days. There have been some story lingering, so we'll have that clarification with the CEO Emeritus Atem Terence, but he will stand by. So, but let me bring in Mr. Banyon Matthews to talk about what is going on at Belua. Mr. Banyon, you are welcome to Gaza Media. You are muted. Can you unmute yourself? Let me give you unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ernest, for having me today. Thank you, Emeritus, Mr. Terence, for the great job you
Yeah,
are doing for
yeah,
bank
yeah,
and
he's
the Olympics.
yeah. Let me bring him to on the screen and yeah. So, Mr. Babylon, the project Abelua is like the uncompleted toilet project, and now the church again that I saw that was uncompleted. I don't know what happened. Was it because of the financial constraint or because of the crisis?
Yes, for the uncompleted toilet in Belua, I think His Royal Highness Chief Owen came on air and told us that he was not paying for the contract, and we are still waiting to hear from him because the community has cleared. If you see the picture, if you saw the pictures that were sent to Casa Media some few days ago, you will discover that the community have already taken the initiative to keep the place clean. And the issues of projects in the Lebang, the case of the law is not different because I cannot know why Attorney and Sons Enterprise will take a contract up to now. If you look at the contract, it's just like an abandoned old toilet constructed in the 1960s. I mean, you just look at it, the way it is roofed, the way it is constructed, it's just as if somebody was doing a child's play around there, you know. We should try to take things serious. By now, I think Chief Wang should have come and visited the place, even clear the place, not the community. It's part of his contract. And he has not handled the contract, means it's still his duty to keep the place in order. So,
No, Mr. Babylon, I would maybe I don't want to advocate for anyone, but I also think that because one of the things that I have been trying to preach or promote is that communities should share with whoever, any government agent or whoever has a contract, so that when they come in, from some of the story, I think there was some negotiation that because they wanted to construct that toilet, they got to somewhere there was a rock on the ground or a stone that they could not continue. They got to another place
yeah.
there was so they couldn't do that. I think they were in good communication with the councillor who awarded the contract. Um, I think the clearing of the environment, keeping the area clean in the school, we know it was in the times of crisis, but try to keep the area clean would not be the job of, I think, the contractor.
Mr. Ernest, you know, when you are awarded a contract, the specifications are on a document that you sign. If they say 10 meters, you have to go 10 meters. It's not the community to sympathize with you that no, you do it 5 meters or 2 meters. You understand? And again, the contract is not yet done. It means whatsoever is going on there, he's supposed to be responsible for that. He's supposed to take full responsibility until the contract is done and handed to the community. Then they continue the process.
Okay, I mean, yes, I'm not defending the contractor, but I'm just saying that, okay, but right now, the area has been cleared, the images are out there, I believe, because from his statement, he said that the crisis came, so everybody ran away, which is true. I think with the thing going back normally now, with the dry season coming on, where if they have to buy material from wherever, I think we should encourage them now to come back and complete the work.
Mr. Ines, I still differ with you because it is in this crisis that the water project the project went on in Menji. It is in this same project crisis that the bridge in Atulia is constructed. So why we should not be taking nonsense excuses from them. You know, we have to be honest with ourselves. You cannot be awarded a contract and up to now you keep hiding behind the crisis and complaining. No, we don't have to continue to accept that.
Okay, maybe Mr. CEO, do you have anything that you want to contribute if you want to, if you will?
Yeah, no, no. I think Miss Mbanyo. Good morning. But I think it's good we all agree with what he is saying, what Miss Mbanyo is saying, because as you know, LECUDO for the past 4 years has implemented projects. It doesn't mean that the insecurity is not a problem, but I think what Lebanese people want to see is effort, right? They just really
Mhm.
want to see Leban people, anybody who takes a contract, whether you are from Leban or not, they just want to see you trying to make an effort to implement the project. If in the course of you trying to make that effort, something happens, people are going to sympathize with, I don't think Leban people have, they are not irrational. They're very rational human beings, right? But if you take this, there has been a tendency, and I know a lot about some of these things, there has been a tendency for a laissez-faire attitude and taking advantage of the crisis. And you've also even had situations where people would also sabotage initiatives because they want take advantage of the war and sabotage initiatives because they want the status quo, right? So I think let's just all agree that anybody, whether you are from Lebang or not, whether the project is in Lebang or the BLM, we should also understand that we are all united. Whether Lebang, the BLM, or Sota, we are all the same people, right? We intermarry. Some of our heritage is from Esota, it's from Wabane. We have friends, so we have a shared interest, right? Anywhere in the BLM, if you take a contract, do your best to implement the contract, right? And if you need help, reach out to the community. We understand we're trying to educate the community that they also have obligation because they have rights. This is their right. They have contributed. All of us who send money to Cameroon, even us in the diaspora, we send money, we pay remittances. We keep the economy of Cameroon going. We need to really understand. I know some people in Cameroon, a few elites, will say, oh, the people in the diaspora, the people in the diaspora. But the people in the diaspora are actually keeping that country going. We are keeping development going. So we have a stake in our area because we want our area to develop, right? So, um, we are not, I don't think the bank people want to crucify anybody. But what I've also learned is that deterrence without consequences really doesn't mean anything. If all people come and sit and they do is talk, 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 and say, oh, everybody should be let loose, I really don't think that works. There has to be some fit in deterrence, right?
Mhm.
People have to face, some people would face consequences. I can assure you that. I think there are people behind the scenes that people don't even know that are working on these issues because the bank people have risen up. I think they are determined that all this contract thing, embezzlement, mismanagement, it didn't start during the war. I think I keep making this point. I grew up
Yeah.
in Fiji. If I tell you I can take contract upon contract upon contract upon contract, and I can tell you abandon contracts, and I can tell you people who were behind those contracts and abandoned them, you'll be surprised. Before the war, 20 years, 50, before the war. So this is an epidemic, a cancer that has.
I think the paradigm has to shift. It has to shift, and I hope that is it Chief one who is responsible for that work. I hope that he will come back and complete the work so that I think, but to some extent, to be fair, I want to give him a little bit of credit for being honest, coming forward to explain. I think that's the other contractor that has stepped forward and said, "Hey, brother, this is what happened. I was at the verge of doing this." I mean, yeah, right now I agree with you. We still need to hold him, but I'm just saying that at least to an extent, from my point of view, from my reporting, based on all other contracts, he stepped forward and sincerely apologize that was it. He will come back to it. So we hope that he will come back and complete the work so that we'll
Yes,
put
so
that
Gaza
case to
Media,
rest.
I think there's
Yes.
something that we should put over this, right? They say sunlight is the greatest disinfectant. You know, the fact that the bank people will be asking and begging for the list of projects for the past 10 years by itself,
Mm-hmm.
it summarizes it all, right? This is information that whoever has it, it's in the position of public trust, has an obligation, responsibility to push this out if the community is asking for it. It's not a favor. I think there's this idea, or the reason why the mayor is being administratively correct, that people should make a request and it should be given. But my expectation is that when these requests are made, it shouldn't take forever. It shouldn't take long to be given because these are documents that are within the administrative keeping, right? But also the councillors and those who represent Leban in the council, because this is a problem I have. People do not understand that they are servant leaders. They are just representatives, right? And they work at the pleasure of the people. And if the people are asking for information, why not provide the information? You don't have to wait for the mayor, And I would say that there's a tendency for people to think that we don't have information. I think that information is available. Um, People know how to get it, and there's also this tendency for some to think that because people are not in Cameroon, they don't have influence. But I can tell you, some people in the diaspora have huge connections. They went to school. Some of people at the highest level of government are their classmates. So I am just putting this out there so that people can understand that they are not, what they're thinking and thinking the community will make noise. They are people who have access to the power structure of Cameroon and can really, really independently hold contractors accountable. But I really think the contractors, if they shouldn't let it get to that point because I can assure you, people have connections.
Yes, and Terence and Babylon, and I think last time you will have a segment where we're trying to actually talk about the rules of some of these councillors. That sometimes some of them go in without actually know their function or what they're supposed to really do. That they are representing a community. That certain information they're supposed to get it and bring
Yeah,
it
Mr.
to that
Ernest.
community. Yes.
Yeah, like I said in the last outing with Casa Media, I explained it clearly that most of these people are just picked up and then added to their group. You know what is happening in the bank is just a few group of politicians. They decide what to do and then they influence the fund and influence the whole community. Whether they are driving the community into a river, not they don't care. Look at LECUDO is supposed to act independently. The fund is supposed to be like a ceremonial head in the back. And then the Kulu comes out with development projects, and then with the population, they implement all those stuff. Look at what we are crying every day. LECUDO is not working. LECUDO is sleeping. I don't even know whether the president and the
So the
executive
Kuru in
they are
Cameroon
following up.
is good
The
you
Kuru,
Yeah, I mean
clarify.
yes, yeah, the Kuru in
the
Cameroon.
national
Yeah.
the national the national
Sorry, national
LECUDO,
Ecuador, right.
home-based LECUDO, they are not working. You know, and if they're not working, we cannot, from any other organization or group, come out and have that power. There is Freedom of Information Act that individuals can send in application to the council to request for these documents that we are acting. But now, if you call the mayor or the deputy now and say you need this information. Maybe not from the same people, the deputy, they will just call maybe Mr. Savas Asung or Tekla and so on, or Dr. Foju and said this young man and is the requesting for this information. Should we give? They will always. I'm telling you because I grew up there. I know the gang, the mafia that they do there, and it is bringing the community down. We need to stand up. We need to stand up.
Yes, and really going back to the Kuru, which is like kind of, I mean, that's an umbrella organization in the bank, right? In that matter,
Yeah,
an entity that have the legitimacy, have the legal right to even request or to even follow and
of
say, hey,
course, of
this
course.
project, the development arm of the bank. But you see, But I had an interview with the general president. Sometimes he said, no, he's been talking with he's been talking with the mayor. I asked him what
If
conversation, but
he's
it
talking
was
with the
not able to
mayor, if
disclose.
he's talking with the mayor,
In what
are we
capacity?
supposed to be working as individuals now to request for this information that we need to hold these people accountable? Thank Mr. Terence for letting them know, because by now they should know that we have to pass through other means to get these documents, and people are doing that and they have copies of those documents. We need. I said we should stop appeasing these people and call them who they are, because we already know them. You should just allow the youth to start telling them who they are, and then bring the development that they want. Mr. Terence and Mr. Kumba, we are somewhere that we have seen how the bank people can drive the development. These people are keeping us down.
Yeah,
The
so
bank
I
people
think let
have
me also
advanced in such a
caution.
way that
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes, CEO.
Yeah, but you see, Dr. Kumba, I want to caution, right? Because I think we all have to acknowledge that um our people in Cameroon, many of them really have a good heart. They are operating in a system that also has its barriers. Um, the second point I would want to say is that all of us have contributed to some of these challenges ourselves. And it's good sometimes to be introspective, to look at ourselves also in the mirror and say, how did we contribute to this? Because the question what would ask is that why would it take then only now than Caliban came for communities and for people to start talking, right? So that's a little bit part of the equation that we have to take some we also have to accept that we as a community, as a people, have not been helpful to our leaders, because you see the leaders, they also need help. Sometimes you need to remind them about what their responsibilities are, but also sometimes you have to partner with them and journey with them through the process. So we want to avoid this process being very combative, being like we're fighting each other, we're fighting amongst ourselves. No, I think my approach is always solution oriented, solution based. Okay, errors were made. How do we move forward? Because at the end of the day, history is history. Today matters, tomorrow matters, right? So, and we have to also avoid overgeneralization, because that is also something when we do that. There are good people in government, there are good people in leadership. And let me give you an example, and what I mean by overgeneralization. So that if we are addressing a specific issue, we address it to a specific person or a specific group of person. We don't indict the entire group, politicians, elites, because one of the challenges that I have really been sad about is the idea that we look at politicians, our politicians, like the enemy. And trust me, it cannot work like that. The politicians, whether we like it or not, somebody has to be in the CPDM. Whether we like it or
Mr.
not.
Terence, Mr. Terence, you see, there is a direct relationship, like I'm saying, between the local politicians, the fund, and LECUDO. And it is not supposed to be, they are supposed to be independent bodies. When they come now and they blend themselves together, I mean, they have a pattern of exploiting the community. That's what I'm talking about
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. No, but I was talking generally, not even what you have said here.
Yeah, I know you are
What
talking
I
generally,
see is
but
going
we need
on in the
to we
forum.
need to
Yeah,
to set
yeah.
the lines clear so that they should know that it's not supposed to be like that. Look at the case of UK. The Prime Minister is acting. You cannot hear about the British King or the Queen, but that is the ceremonial head in that.
Yes, David. I think we all agree that the kudu, because that's one of the things that, because even Mbin himself and other people in Kalabang has constantly said the kudu has a responsibility. He has something like, when all these things. Let's say assume that he did not know about all these things, but I think with a lot of information and education coming out now, he's aware that, okay, these are the responsibility that I'm supposed to be. I think telling you last time you said some of these organizations, the institutions were drawn like, maybe he got
They're
like,
outdated. They are
Yes.
outdated. To be honest with
Outdated. So
you,
you need to update them to
yeah,
fit the current dispensation so that,
yeah,
you put, yeah, we'll update and say, okay, this is what is currently happening. How do information flow? Sometimes it used to be you sign a paper, you carry it, you mail it. But now you can prepare document, PDF, scan it, send it to somebody in less than a minute.
yeah, yeah. So
Right?
they are outdated. For example, my grandmother Ottawa Saba, the eldest of my grandmother, and I'm named after Ottawa Saba, Mami Ottawa Saba. If you
Mhm.
remember in the days, they were the heads, right? And they were based in Fontaine. And these people were champions. Go look at what they did. Go look at what the Manfred Ashes did in those days. And every time you had fighters like that who were patriotic, they were always labeled as extremists. That's always the thing. Power really does not like accountability in most
Yeah.
cases. They were labeled as extremists. They were the power center. They were patriots. Then the power center shifted to the elites. It went outside of Fontaine. Now, the people who mattered were the elites in Yaoundé, in Kumba, in Limbe, okay, because they had the money. They were pumping money into the development, right? Now, you've also have you now have a shift where the diaspora, right?
Yeah.
It's also trying to change the system to contribute their own little bit to the development of Lebanon because we grew up in that territory, in that land. We suffered, we saw how our parents suffered, and we came to the diaspora, to the Western world, and we look at what the Western world is doing, and we say, damn, where are we? We can't be left behind. And we're trying to also bring change, bring innovation, but there's resistance. There's resistance, right? So you're gonna have these tensions. But I think what it's important, and I think people can take this to the bank and catch it. The diaspora is gonna help. They are determined to help. And this idea of trying to divide, to say, oh, some people are diaspora, these people outside of the country, this, that's division. And I don't think any Lebanese person is going to accept that because I am here in America with probably five of my siblings, but I have family members in Cameroon. I have people in the village. We are all together. We are in the same family. It's the same people. All this idea of saying, oh, because yes, some people in leadership saying
And
that.
and and, and that's true. And even during like that convention, I think is His Majesty Fano Kunze, who is a senator, explained that the diaspora. He said if you look at most country in Africa, he said
Correct.
the diaspora contribute almost seventy
Right.
percent,
Correct.
not socio-economic, even in decision making.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said any country, any community that forget about the diaspora is doomed to fail.
Yeah.
I have record of it. It's online. And interview him. We were there in Maryland when he was. I mean, he explained it. I couldn't have agreed with him any longer.
Oh
Exactly what
yeah,
you are
yeah.
saying. That
He was so
yes,
up, and remember he emphasized that for that they
yes,
themselves, he himself has realized for them for our place to grow, there has to be good synergy, good rapport, relationship,
yeah,
working together between home base and diaspora. And I think that is
right,
what we are trying to push right with LECUDO, that we have to come together. If we talk about unity, unity is not that somebody sits there in Cameroon and say, LECUDO Cameroon send their development money and don't be part of decision making.
no,
Unity does not mean that now, if you want to change the structure of the organization, you only take the people in Cameroon, the people you want, to form a committee to change it because you if you do that, then you're limiting ideas, right? So you have to have a more broad-based thing and allow the diaspora to come in also, take the best of their people themselves, make decision of who will be in those committees, and so that we try to rebuild LECUDO. And as I've always said, if LECUDO wants to be LECUDO general, it needs to involve everybody. I mean, people should understand the definition of general is general. Means LECUDO United States that has chapters has to be in there. LECUDO Europe that has chapters has to be in there. That is the way you bring unity. Because I think a lot of people are through their strategy of divide and rule. They are disuniting Lebang people for no good reason, and
Yeah.
they're fracturing development.
So, yes, I think the network this morning is Babylon. You were stepping out. So, before let's finish this segment by Babylon. You said I just wanted to remind our audience again about this fundraising. So, the question I was asking Mr. Babylon is the church that was left uncompleted. Was it due to financial constraint or because of the crisis? Do you have any idea, Babylon? It appears like maybe he's not getting me. Oh, okay, his network is shaking.
Maybe it's
Okay,
slow.
Terence.
Yes, but Dr. Kumba, I think let me say one
Yeah.
last thing for the projects. You see, um, we are all one people, right? As I always say,
Yes.
you see the way I
Mm-hmm.
operate in LECUDO, it's all about making sure everybody is together. If I disagree with you on an issue, I only make sure the disagreement is on that specific issue. I don't come and say, "Oh, you are all around." You no. As I was saying about our politicians, we need to make sure we avoid making it a very tense um,
Environment. Mm-hmm.
environment
Situation.
relationship with the politicians
Yeah.
because somebody has to. If we have to strategize well as the bank, as the BLM, we need to make sure we are at the table everywhere there's any power structure. We need to have our own people at the table, right? So whether it is the CBDM, you can say you don't like the CBDM. We need our own people to be at the table in the CBDM, and we also need when they want to do things that matter, right? For example, I saw people trying to make sure that the celebrations that were happening across the country for CPDM militants that it's supposed to take place at the divisional headquarters and they were being organized in a sub-divisional headquarters. And people stood up and said, no, those who are CBDM members from Lebang, from Fontaine subdivision, stood up and said, no, the headquarters is Menji and they have to have their own celebration. And then I am just happy that people understood that and allowed them the space to do that. So whether it is Ambazonia, right? We would have people in Ambazonia. I know people have called me names and tried to accuse me, but you know what? We need to have people everywhere in leadership, whether people like it or not. That is how, as a community, you strengthen your position so that any good thing is coming from any direction, you have a piece of it, right? So let's not always look at these things in a very bad this thing, And just to buttress my point,
Yeah, yes, yes. It's
I work
about
with
the
everybody
old
when I was
school.
CEO. I work with everybody. If I
No,
want to go and get development from FM, I know people have called me, but anyway, FM is my second cousin for people who used to make a lot of noise. Oh, Terence did it, Terence did it. He's my second cousin. I grew up with him in Azi, right? Went to school in government school up. So if it comes to development, right? Development has no color. When a school comes, when something happens, when it has no color, nobody cares where it came from, right? So the key thing is that we're bringing development to Lebang. Whether if we have to go and get it from the SDO, we'll go get it from the SDO. If we have to get it from Cristiano, he's a brother, we'll go get it from Cristiano. We will disagree with Cristiano. I would disagree with Chris on certain things, but on certain things, I'll talk with him. I say, you are my brother. Huh? Ngoge. You know,
no,
we
no,
will,
yes, no. I
he
think
will
that's correct.
understand
No,
we'll be
it's
able
like
to move
no,
things.
is that the old day? Is that the old day where they used to say you belong to CPDM? That's fine. You belong to SDF because those were the two main forces at that time, right? You can
Yeah.
belong to so long as you are bringing something back to our community. That is fine. We'll still welcome you.
Thank you.
We are all sons and
And we
daughters
should
of
not keep
this particular.
castigating people. We should
Yeah.
care about what are they bringing back? Are they representing our interests wherever they
Us.
are? Bottom line.
Okay, Terence, moving on to this, the issue, Babylon, your network keep kicking you out and back in. Now, to wrap up or to really finalize my last outing or my last presentation about Now, I think the consensus in the bank committee is that LECUDO should coordinate Mbin forest conservation, contrary to what the document or what was perceived, because people thought that it was somehow maybe not in very good faith, in the sense that it did not actually involve the primary. When we say the primary, the most closest elite, like Rahane Fombin at Onge, those chiefs, those people that are resident just immediately around the Mbingma area, that they were not consulted when Aerodev was trying to carve the area or make a research proposal to the Minister of Forestry. But now I think that's where the resistance came in, and people were not happy. Like people have already said, that has been put to rest. Now we are looking forward on how Lukudu will coordinate the forest conservation. So I wanted to ask you, because I know you also have a ton of experience. You have worked in this area post your university education in Chang. You did a lot of research in that area before migrating to the US. So I want to ask you, what will actually be the role of Lukudu when it comes to the conservation of that area?
Yes, so that's a very good question, and I see people, or people now generating a good interest in that. And just to provide, as you said, I've worked in the area. I actually received my scholarship from the Smithsonian Research Center and the U.S. government to come to the United States for research and development based on my work on conservation in the northwest, southwest, west, and the south, right? And the BLM, I did a lot of work in the BLM. Aerodev, they said NGO. I was the first manager for Aerodev. We set it up in Menji and transform it, right? A lot of these projects that now Aerodev turned and took the route of a protected area. We actually started it as a community-based conservation program, not one that the government would take over the land, but we prefer our own model, which is a model that is most effective, which is community-based, people-centered conservation. That's a model that is, I'm a conservationist, and I can tell you I know the in and out. And from inside, I'll tell you, people will come and say, "Oh, protected area," the heavy hand of the government, because yeah, that brings in a lot of money. But we look at the interests of the common man. The best model, it's a community-based structure where the community itself is managing its forest, making decisions, and you can choose a community forest option. And the advantage to the community forestry is that once by Cameroon forestry law, once a community makes that decision to conserve their forest and manage it as a community forest, that takes priority and precedence over every other form of conservation by law. So it means the government cannot come again and say we're using this forest to do a protected area, right? Because the government wants conservation. They want better natural resource management. They want sustainable development. And if a community has consciously expressed the need to do it in their own form, that is the best way, because you come and impose a protected area, then if the community needs to enforce it, they need to participate. And if they don't participate, all your money for a protected area would have been misused. So that's why they prefer this community-based system of management. And as you said, I see people writing and thinking that this process, the issue of the protected area started during the war. No, it predates, it's a long process. I don't want to go into it, but that has been long. But again, a protected area is not a bad thing. That's not what we're saying. But we're putting things, we're comparing two things. It's, a category A or B protected area or a community forest. And we're saying that for our own interest, community forestry is the best because it gives the local communities control of their forests, and then they develop a simple management plan based on those needs, but also making decisions on conservation, the areas
Mm-hmm.
that they want to preserve for the next 100 years, the areas that they might want to preserve in the next 50 years. So, they do zoning, the buffer zones, the farms, those farms, people who have areas that have farms and that they want to allocate for their farming and keep sharing it out to do their farming. So it's more of some sort of planning. You take your land and you as a community, you plan what you're going to do with it. And then we, like the experts and the Ministry of Forestry, we then provide expert knowledge and guide the community through the process. So it's very simple. And we also have to acknowledge that global warming is here to stay. We need to preserve our environment. So you don't just have global warming, you have the problem of deforestation. In so that we all understand the importance of managing our natural resources sustainably. Dr. Kumba, you remember the
Yeah.
water crisis. Look at Fiengap.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did a lot
I
of work.
know.
Yeah, I did a lot of work with these different parts of our community. Water resources, people in Minji will tell you I used to put people in jail for using gamalin to catch fish, right? I was doing a lot of education, but also enforcement. And look at the volume of Fiengap today. Look at the volume of Fiengap water or river when you were growing up in Azi.
Yeah.
Just tell me honestly whether that volume is the same and whether the water crisis that we face today because of volume, not because of all the technical aspect, but because of insufficient volume, right? And you can see the effect of that volume even to the hydroelectric power plant in Merihel for the folklore, that
Yeah.
the volume of water is no longer able to even support the needs of the electrification needs of folklore because
Yes,
they reduce the need
I
for
think
it.
I think for sure the consensus is that we really need to conserve some of the natural resources and consume it in the way that there's something for the for the future generation, which
Yeah,
is
but
I
if you
think that.
just say that, people will not understand. You need to really directly show people how, if we don't do that, how is it impacting us, right? You see, human
And
beings in the
that's why
distribution line.
because this is where uh because now I know there was an alternative to what the approach that Rode wanted to come in with the government. So, but I
Okay, let
think
me
the
talk about
resistance
that
of the bank
alternative.
people, yeah, the resistance of the bank people was that it should be a community based program as we are explaining that, so that the community will give access. That's why I was asking that what would be the role of LECUDO in
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
monitoring
yeah,
or
yeah.
in
So,
controlling
so
this.
yeah,
The
so
first thing, say for example, what would LECUDO want to do?
yeah, so um, we started this project in Mbin Community Forest Project in 2021. We the fund put together a committee, and again, this was still an exploratory committee um, to look at explore how we can mitigate the protected area proposal that was going up and almost getting to the presidential desk to be signed. And then we determined that, the best option would be to propose our intent to establish a community forest. And that by itself just stopped with a petition that the fund mobilized the Lebang people to write. And this proposal on the table, it put a halt on that process of establishing a protected area. But let me give a little bit. One key thing that I think people keep saying it is because it was opposed because the community, these people were not involved. That was probably the small potato of it. There are technical aspects that I don't want to say here because it might just infuriate the bank people. But what I would say is that we are on top of this. The bank people are on top of this. The firm put together a committee in 2021. LECUDO USA took the responsibility to make sure the community forest process starts. We are working with LECUDO National in Cameroon, um, and we have experts. Remember, we have conservation experts that also work for Aerodev that are in the committee. Um, Aerodev, we made it very clear that because of some of the issues I said I can't say here, that Aerodev did not did not set up things correctly. There were some things that we found out that it didn't come across well for our own interest. We are not using Aerodev anymore. I think we all the bank people can sleep. I
Yeah,
know Jose has come and
because
said,
no, I
I
just want
see
to
for
no, I
coming
just
to
want
say, oh, this
to
is
no, I
no
just want to say it because when that production came out, I think I received call even from Yaoundé. I think I can state it here because I spoke to uh, from them actually told me that him and late Fofoyi actually intercept the document, they participated in the writing of the petition together with the fund to really block. When people say sometime on the internet and start writing,
correct.
Gaza media is broadcasting this thing like, this is something that touches the heart of the bank people.
Correct.
So I just want to say that people should understand the level in which people have been working on the ground when I receive some of this information. But I think, yes, Terence,
So,
now,
so, so
asset,
let me, if I might learn. So Lekudu has a proposal already. We have a potential donor that we're trying to work with to fund the community forest project, and just so that our people can understand our intent to establish a community forest. It's not to take the home bid mark and make a community forest. That's not going to happen. We are bent. Those resources, our people have to have access to their farms, to their forest. We our goal is to make sure that we can look and bid mark, zone it, preserve a portion of bid mark for posterity, so that tomorrow development wants to come to the bank. There's no land, as you know. Every land now has been taken by village or this, and there's no land. Then we have that spare land that we can use. We also have the conservation corridors that we establish to protect, natural resources, whether it's forest, wildlife, water resources for posterity, right? So the Kudu USA for now, it's at the head of coordinating the proposal with the donor, and we're trying to find other donors, and we have experts in the committee that the fund put. And the fund, to be honest with you, the fund has sacrificed so much on it. We've held more than 30 meetings. People don't even know, on this
and
big
and and
project.
and just to put it in perspective or to put this thing in content when we say community based, because I think everyone listening to us now would really testify that community program has been being the most sustainable. Go back to the
Correct.
project that the Kudu USA has been able to sponsor. Not just the Kudu USA, even some
Other
village
village.
organization compared to the government, quote unquote, government sponsor organization. I'll give you an example. This water crisis that we're facing in Minji, right? Nchemfem did the same water catchment and
Mhm,
water is flowing there
mhm.
with less than with one third of what was awarded to the government. They
And
were
you
very
also did it
successful.
too. A new village.
Yes, of course, Inyu also did it with even very little small amount.
Right.
Jinechai has water. And many other community. Look at the hair campaign that Lokudu is sponsoring. Look at the lightning that Lokudu has sponsored. Look at the road project that is going on. The list is on and off and
But we
on.
still need
So
government, director.
I
The
know we
government
still
is
need
the
government.
highest. They have a responsibility and obligation to develop the place. It's their prime
Yes,
responsibility. So we need, and they provide the highest amount of money. They're the ones, they are the only ones that can fund big projects. So we
they
need to really
need to
make
know.
sure that
They are
we
just
protect that money.
Terence, Babylon, you agree with me with all the document that we have seen, with all the money. Terence, LECUDO has provided books, right, to the BLM, to the students across the bank in the entire area. When the document came out, we saw the numbers of books. We're hearing of books, of copies and upon copies of books that were given to contractors that they were supposed to pump in. That is money coming from the government. Where are those books? I mean, Terence, tell me how many
Is
books you
that
supplied
question
to
to
Bele.
Mr. Mbamnyong or to me?
I'm just asking. I mean, compared to how many books you sent to Bele and get.
So it's not just Belenge. I think
No, I'm just saying that when you started, because that was the first school that you started
yeah,
with.
yeah, 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 and we mobilize a lot of resources. Our publishers, Mr. Somewhere from who has a book publishing this thing in Boya. He's from Gensa.
Mm-hmm.
I reach out to him. My uncle has Cosmos Books that my younger
Books, yeah,
brother was the
yeah,
general
before check.
manager right before chair. I reach out and remember Cosmos didn't just give books, they gave boxes upon boxes of textbooks, but they also even gave 500,000
No, Terence, I know. Terence,
for
what I really wanted to point out was that to go back, not to deviate away from the conservation topic. I just wanted to say most community organizations, even with the little money that they have, if they were able to have this kind of huge money that is coming from the government, I think they would do. I mean, they will build mountains.
But the books from the government, I think the books that they cancelled, but I think they were delivered to the schools. That
Yes,
was,
no, the council they did that.
I have
No,
videos of that.
I'm
They were
talking.
handed to the schools.
Yeah, no, the believer. No, I'm just talking in general terms. That if you look at the project, the book is just one of the project. The
Right.
water, the road, the bridges, and the rest. I'm just saying that.
Yeah. So we
I think
just need
I just wanted to make a point that our audience should understand that uh, maybe the Kudu coming in to coordinate the activity of the conservation, because later on somebody will ask, oh, does the Kudu has the Kudu become a conservative organization
no, no,
or
no, no,
an
no.
NGO that will be?
Let me clarify that.
Yes.
First, LECUDO USA has been doing a lot of projects, but it's also we have a lot of experts in the committee that the fund put together. Right, you
Mm-hmm.
have experts in conservation. Right, so we know what we're doing. This is LECUDO with experts in LECUDO.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not that type of committee where you just have people who are just coordinating. No, you have people who will be very hands-on when it comes to implementation, both in Cameroon and in the United States. And my promise to Lebanese people is that Lebanese people should rest assured, right, that this
Mm-hmm.
community forest project, we're at the stage where we're looking for funding, we're sourcing funding, and we also need to understand that we're not just using the Mbin community forest for preservation or conservation of biodiversity. We're also using it for development. And for example, let me throw a little bit of information out there. We have in that proposal an initiative to do do agri transformation, right? Where we would try to obtain a cassava machine that can transform cassava from to gari to watafufu and all of that, and we can establish a whole factory in Fontem and produce the gari, the watafufu, and all of that, all these other components of cassava, and send it to our people who are now IDPs, so that we take advantage of our people where they are, and then we creating a cooperative where we are taking care of ourselves, right? We have a piggery project. We have so many projects in there for development. But again, no farms are going to be taking, people are going to keep their farms, people are going to continue to have more farms. Then we'll teach agroforestry so that people can, when they're doing farming, there are things that they can do to make sure that the soil does not get destroyed, like the slash and bend that has happened in Upper Lebang, and the soil has become infertile. You cannot harvest a good, uh, uh, tuber of cocoyams. Now in Upper Lebang, we used to have Igbo cocoa. One of them will be bigger than my head, or cocoa, or the
Yeah.
other form of cocoyam. I will be
Yeah.
you go now, they are not able the
Yeah, they used to call it cocoyam from the com.
correct. But go now, you can't find that. Even before I left Cameroon, the soils had been so
Yeah,
destroyed, infertile. So these
yeah.
are things that we're trying
Ekudokong.
to,
Even they need to call it Ekudokong. So
yeah.
Ekudokong.
Or
It needs to be
attack
very specific.
India. Yeah,
Yes, yes, that is it.
India.
Yeah,
Yes.
from those areas were like marvelous.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Mr.
I
Manya is
think
here. He might want to, so that he's not to, sort of bring him to conversation.
yeah, even though his network seems shaking.
But I think it's on now.
Yes. Oh no. Okay. But so we just want to. Yeah. Before your neighbor was disturbing, I was asking you uh about the church that is under construction or that was left unconverted. So I was asking you, was the financial, was the uncompleted structure due to the financial constraint or was because of the crisis? He's gone again. Yeah.
Director, so for the Mbin Mark any community forest project, um, the process it's complex but also simple. For us, as I
Mm-hmm.
said, I participated in the government's commission to introduce community forestry into the Cameroon forestry law for 6 months, which was funded by the British Department for International Development. They actually sponsor the capacity building and all the meetings that the commission we had to meet to propose that new law to the Minister of Forestry. At that time, it was still Environment and Forestry. So you know, in I also have younger Lebang people who worked with me when I was in Aerodev and who continue working in conservation, who are also experts in in forestry. I know amongst them, I'm kind of the lead person in terms of
Mm-hmm.
subject matter specialist with community forest because I work when I was working in Northwest with BirdLife International. All I was doing is community forestry. You go to the Northwest, most of their reserve forests are community forests. You know, the Bamenda people are very smart, you know. So that is the model they use because, you know, they are very patriotic.
Mm-hmm.
So the process, once we get funding, we're going to do demarcation. It's going to allow us first to map out our boundaries, which to me, you can say community forest all you want. It's a priority to Lebang. Lebang people have to look 200 years down the road. My grandfather, maternal grandfather, Fortabang II Fortabang George Lebang of Fortabang II, fought, and a lot of my family members were killed fighting to push out Fortabang George III or Fortabang III and to push back the Bayangi people and the Bo people from, you know, and expand Lebang boundaries, right? So when they talk about this Bin Mark thing, my family, it's a big stakeholder in that because we lost family members. People know the history. When our great grandfather was waging that war to expand this thing and push this people out, many of our family members died. It's a big story in our family that they wiped out more than half of his family. So people have lost blood when it comes to this piece of real estate for the bank. We're going
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that we preserve it. So there's going to be sensitization because the community has to be sensitized. We also, and that sensitization and awareness creation um, would also help people to define their rights because user rights. There's this
Yeah.
conversation where people think everybody has the same level of rights to be marked. No, there are people who are the closest proximity of that forest and depend on that forest the most. They have more priority in terms of stakeholdership because if something happens in that forest that is not good, it affects them the most. It doesn't affect somebody who is in Lekong or Mbindia. So people have to understand. So you have part of Mbinmark that is attributed to the chiefs and the title holders, the communities that have are situated there, and you have part of Minmark that is general, which is a part now that the fund is a custodian because nobody owns it. You know, the part that for Tabang George Willebang for Tawanto owns or for Minatonge owns, the fund cannot go there because it's just like you can't go to Nje land and say, oh, the fund has to come there and say this. So people don't understand that. And I've tried to educate some people that the community forest process is one that they have to leave it with the experts like us because these are things that if they're not handled well, misinformation is circulated, people begin to fight themselves for no good reason. So you have consultation. The communities at all levels, people will be educated, will have meetings at every level. Both the elites will be educated because they too need to be educated, right? The communities have to be educated at the different levels, right? And then once we do that, we start doing survey. We also do demarcation. We will demarcate our boundary, right? And make sure we establish our boundaries with our neighbors, which is important going forward. And then there will be ecological and biological surveys. All the experts, scientists would come to study what is in that forest so that we use that to make decisions. Where is the best part, the richest part that we want to preserve? You know, it's going to be a very smooth process with
Yeah.
its guys
Terence, yeah, Terence, people were asking, is there any form of disadvantage to the local communities?
up for the community forest.
Yeah. I mean, like when we say want to conserve, want to protect, is there any disadvantage so far? I know there are
No, no,
certain things that they
I
can
can
be.
say one of the disadvantages that might come is for the greedy people. Those who have been greedy in the past and have just gone there and decided that they own Bidmark, right?
Mhm.
And not understand that Bidmark is for the community, right? And I have, as I said, my grandfather is there. Even my grandfather, there are things that he has done that I wouldn't say it here, but that we're trying to address at the level of the family. That even FM called me and complained about it. 2 by 2 called me and complained about it. You know, because these are family issues, right? And they were trying to address some of these things, and they have to be addressed. So there are things that would have to be addressed. And as I said, people who have tried to take uh, large chunks of being marked as their personal this thing. They have just gone in there. They are selling it to whoever they want to sell. They might. Those are the only. This is the only disadvantage I can see. People who have not
Mm,
managed this as a
okay,
community
so there might be,
thing. But apart from that,
there's really not much.
yeah, you
Okay.
know how selfish people always. Yeah, when something is general and want to make it general, selfish people
Yeah.
start fighting, right? So when that time comes, you start seeing people fighting. Just watch
No,
out
yeah,
and
I
see
know in
whether
conservation.
they have
No,
this
I know for
interest.
sure in conservation there's always a lot of conflict uh, at different level. Who
Correct,
owns what? Yeah,
correct.
so yeah, I did a little bit of that theoretically when I
Right.
was in Europe. Yeah, so I didn't do practical conservation. I did theoretical conservation.
Yes. So we're
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
focus with the community forest project. We're going to focus on the truth. We're going to focus on the rights. We're going to focus on general interest, the bank interest. I think that is all where this will fall. And I think the bank
yeah.
people are wise. They know now that
No, with
this is a
information
time
now.
for honesty.
No, Terence, I want to thank you so much. Now, let's switch gear. I think our time is almost up. We have 1 hour today. Uh, the bishop is coming. I've not. I was trying to see if I could get to Madame Ara, but I was not able. I would really love to talk to her so that maybe level of preparation, what is going on uh, in Minji Mare Police Center and the church. I would also like to talk to, is it Father
But at
Tiofi?
your age, Chomo.
Yes, I'll try Tiofi. Yes, I will try to see if next week I can bring them on board, maybe by phone, so that they could explain to us some of the preparation that is going on in Menji. The other father at Azip Parish, um, forgotten his name. So try to get to them so that maybe they could update us as well. Do you have
Yeah,
any
so
information or
for the
anything?
bishops, yeah, for the bishops visit because I speak with Ara almost every day and Father
Mm-hmm.
Chomo every day. I'm a Menji I'm a Menji person. So from that angle, we are very hands on Bender, which is the group that contains seven, involves seven
Mm-hmm.
villages for Minji municipality, Minji, we call it metropolitan area. So there is a lot of preparation. And I also have spoken to the bishop. The bishop is really relying on us as Lebang people, because my fear is that people look at the bishop's visit only as coming to Azzi parish and Azzi thing, or Menji parish a Menji thing. No, the bishop is coming to Lebang, and because he's a man of God, there are two institutions on ground that would help him talk to interface with Lebang, with his Christians in Lebang.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a collective effort. It's for all of us to be involved and make sure that the bishop's first visit to Lebang soil, it's the most successful thing that ever happened to us. So there are commissions that have been established both by the pastoral committee. There's a pastoral
Mm-hmm.
committee for Azi Church. There's one for Menji. The bishop also told me that these are independent entities by church doctrine. And it's important that I say this.
The parishioners, yeah.
Yes, so it's important I say this so that people don't start saying, oh, this priest is trying to do this. No. The bishop explained it to me because some people complain to me that this thing has to be done by the priest as a central this thing, and there has to be a committee to manage the process external. As I mean, that is not led by the priest. So I went to the bishop, and the bishop said, no, by law, Catholic doctrine, the priests, they are the head of that pastoral mission, and they have to
Mm-hmm.
manage anything that the community wants to do, has to be in the commission that is led by the priest, that the priest has put in place. So I'm saying this to avoid conflict, so that as a community, we know we have to participate with these two pastoral committees, and anything we want to assist, influence us to go through those two committees. Now, there's a way LECUDO National can create now a committee to make sure that there's mobilization, sensitization, and that things go well. Certain things that the pastoral committees cannot do, LECUDO National can do that. There are things like that that should be done. But I think for us in Menji, the community, it's clearing the church. We also have
Yes, okay.
the roads.
Tell us what about
The roads are also,
yes.
they are trying to clean the roads too. And I think our NGO is going to be playing a role with assisting with some of those
Yeah, that's
projects.
what I wanted to ask you the role that the bright future will be doing uh, in terms of maybe entertainment,
Mhm.
soccer, uh, and stuff like that. What any level of preparedness?
Yes, yes. So the Inspired Bright Future says, what we try to do is fill gaps, right? We come in, look
Mm-hmm.
at our situation, and we look at where there are things that the community is not able to do, probably because of lack of finances or because of inspiration, and we try to fill those gaps. So we're going to have a lot of activities that we're going to be sponsoring. For example, the clearing of the roads. We've asked the committee to give us an idea of clearing the streets of Menji from three corners or from Mami Merekumba, from around that level, right to Menji,
Mm-hmm.
cleaning the market. The community is already clear, cleaning the church premises and around the church.
On the Thursday, yeah.
The clearing the park. So they are going to give us a proposal, and once they give us that proposal, we'll look at what we can do, but we'll also look at what the council can do, and we'll reach out to the mayor. The mayor has been so gracious, really helping to clear some of these areas. So we really want to give him a shout out for doing that. So we'll reach out to him and see if he can help. And then for feeding, the committees are working on raising money for feeding. The budget is quite moderate, but I think they don't yet have the money. So anybody who really wants to
Will
help,
you want? Will you mind saying it here?
no, except I look at my phone, but I know for Menji, the budget is about 5 million. Um,
Mhm.
a conservative because since the locals they were
You
not
mean, you
sure
mean
about.
for the entire preparation and the visit?
Yes,
Okay.
it's about 5 million. Since the local people don't have money, the priest made a very conservative budget, um, and they are trying to raise money for it. Um, let
Do
me
they
see.
have any means if any volunteer want to contribute or want to support?
Yes, so I'm going to
What can
provide
they
the
do?
number for the priest, the Momo number for the priest in Azi and the priest in Menji. I think at the minimum, that is information that Gaza Media can help us disseminate. If people want to assist, the pastoral visit, they can contribute to these two parishes through their
Do you
priest.
have Do you have the numbers?
Um, yes, for Menji, it's Father Theophile Chomo,
Hmm.
and the number is
Just
6755 18747. Again, 6755 18747. That's the Momo number
wait,
for
wait. It's 65. It's six
no
seven five
six
five
seven
one eight.
five five 18747.
Okay. And for Aziz,
For Z, hold on. For Z, let me put for Z. Hold on for Z.
if you don't have, you can put it on the letter. I just wanted to put it on the screen right away.
No, I have it. Father Eta. Let's see. And then for Azi, you have Father John Eta. His phone number, Momo number again, it's 65098.
No, hold on. I didn't get the first one. It was Hitches. He said it's 67
No, 65098
650.
981359. So 650981359. Father John Eta for Azi Parish.
I need to get it. I need to get it correct. It's six. Sorry, it's 650.
98.
Then the network. Sorry, the network was tapi. I don't know what is happening. Maybe there's thunderstorm somewhere. No, I didn't get for the Z.
Yes, so let me take it again. Six
Yes.
five zero
Mm-hmm.
nine eight 1359.
Five nine.
I think your computer is overloaded. That's why it's probably taking time
Yeah. Yeah. My
to
computer. Yeah.
type.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I just put it on the screen. So for Menji, anybody wants to help can contact Fatiofi as 675 518 747. And for the Aziz Parish, the phone number or the Momo number is 650 981359.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was it. People can chip in or they can reach out to those priests in those different parishes and maybe give support or just maybe even just emotional support in preparation of this. Though I believe they will greatly appreciate it. Babylon, I want to thank you both for coming. I know your network has not been the best. Uh, yeah, last time you were on your computer, I think you were on the cell phone. That's why we'll continue to have this program again. And Tomorrow we'll be having a very serious conversation on the roles of the VDA, Community Development Organization, and the focus will be on healthcare initiative or healthcare center in different villages and what they will be doing. So it will be an interesting topic, and I want to thank our viewers. They should tune in tomorrow same time, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 2 p.m. Cameroon time, and for that wonderful discussion that will come on, that will be presenting to them. Health is very important. We saw all what happened at NJA, and we want to give a shout out to the Kudu, especially the Kudu Emeritus who initiated all this project that even the currency or amid that it is still the funding from last year or from what you left behind that he's continuing with the current health campaign or the medical outreach. That one, the first one, as there's one that is going to take place at Wenchen, and there's another one that is going to take place finally at Azi. So all of these project, all of this outreach will be coming on again. This is Gaza Media, and don't forget if you have to reach and support the preparation of the bishop coming, the Minji parish number is 675 518747, and that of Azi parish is 650981359. Then I think next time we should try and bring Madame Aresheris, yeah, so that maybe if she can join us by phone, then we can be able to talk to her or to Father Teofi, maybe so that they can give us the gist of what is actually happening on the ground.
No,
Yeah,
whenever you need her, I think you get her. Just
yeah,
get her and let her know. Yeah, and then I think as you were talking about the current CEO of LECUDO and the executive and the board, LECUDO USA, we also really thank them from as a member of the Citizen Reopening Committee. We want to thank them for the solar panels that they have funded. Um, sorry, the solar street lights that are funded, 15 street lights, because the electricity supply in Sidoism is not adequate. So the Crew USA is installing 15 solar poles within the campus for security and safety purposes. They are also sponsoring 10 security cameras out of the 13 that will be installed in the campus. And then we give a shout out also
yeah,
to Michigan, Dean Kemkong and his his members of Legda, Michigan, which is also kind of a de facto LECUDO, Michigan chapter. They are also funding the solar panels for Center Wisdom for 10 classrooms, and that is huge. I would really thank them for it. Students will be able to study at night when there are no lights, so we are really great.
mhm. Okay, yes, thank you so much, CEO Metu, and then to see you next time. Dear viewers, we'll finally come to at the end of this program, and we'll thank you for staying tuned with us. Until again, we'll see you next time, and yeah, that is it for today. And